Hello everyone, welcome back to Edubbey Global Solution. The next topic in our syllabus we'll be treating today is household. Now, what are we treating under household? Now, the first topic we are looking under household is spending. And what do we know as spending? What does spending means to us? People spend in order to buy goods and services and to maintain a given standard of living. Spending also means consumption or your expenditures. Now let us look at the influences of spending. Let me tell you, the main influence on the amount spent by a household or a person is known as the disposable income. And what do we know as disposable income? Our disposable income is the income after income tax has been deducted. Now let us check how it influence our expenditure. As income rise, people also spend more in total. Of course, if there is an increase in our income, people will be able to spend more in total. Now we have wealth. Wealth generates income from different sources, like we have dividend from shares which can be spendable, and we have cash maybe from our bank, we have security for loan, etc., which can be spent by household. Of course, if there is an increase in the wealth of people, the expenditure of the person can also rises. Now we have the confidence. If people feel more optimistic about their future career income, of course, they are likely to spend more, and also vice versa. That is, if the people feel pessimistic, they will spend less. Now we move to the rate of interest. Of course, the rate of interest, if there is an increase in rate of interest, it can also lead to fall in our consumption. Now we have the advances in technology. Advances in technology can also lead to an increase in expenditure. How do we mean? Because new products may encourage people to replace their existing products. Now we move to the next slide. If we move to the next slide, there is one past question here. An economic is experiencing rising prices. Which government policy will help reduce consumer expenditure, that is, consumer spending? Now, which government policy do you think can reduce consumer spending? Let us check the options. Issuing more banknotes and coins, reducing indirect taxes, investing more in building infrastructure, introducing compulsory saving for income earner. Which is supposed to be our answer? Of course, the government policy that can help to reduce consumer expenditure is to introduce compulsory saving for income earner. Moving to the next slide also, where we have saving and we have the influences of savings. Now, we have discussed about spending, which is known as our consumption. Now we move to saving. People save for a variety of reasons. They save to gain a particular sum of money for a particular purpose. Now we want to treat the influences on savings, but we have to drag the word into the correct boxes. We have to guess the right answer for this explanation according to how we explain our spending. Now the first statement say, as disposable income rise, the amount saved and the proportion saved also increase. What does related to that? Now the wealthier people are, the easier they find it to save, and a rise in the rate of interest may also lead to reduction in saving by household. And the young and the old tend to save more than the middle age people. And the tax concession on the income earned from saving will also encourage people to save. Now let us check this option. What does it related to among these? Well, of course, it is our income. It's our income that related to the disposable income. Now the weather people, of course, it is the wealth. The weather the people have, sorry for that, the wealthier the people are, the easier they find it to save, and the rate of interest. Of course, if there is an increase in rate of interest, it will lead to reduction in saving. Now we have the rate of interest to be here. Now here we have the young and the old. Of course, we have age structure here. And the last one, we have the tax contribution, that is the reduction in the tax by government. If there is a reduction in the tax, of course, the saving rate will increase. Of course, that's correct. Yes, that's it. So now let us move to the next activity here. What might encourage the consumer to spend less and save more? To spend less and save more. Now, what should be our answer here? Let us check. The expectation that price will rise, is that so? The expectation that unemployment will fall. The expectation that real GDP, that is gross domestic product, will rise, and the expectation that price will fall. What do you think should be our answer? Of course, it is the expectation that price will fall. If there is an expectation that price is going to fall, of course, people will decide to spend less. Now that's correct. Moving to the next slide here, where we have borrowing. What we have to discuss in this household is the influence of saving, borrowing, and spending. Now we have spoken about spending and saving. Now we move to borrowing. Borrowing enables people to spend more than their current disposable income. It also involves a form of interest which has to be paid. Of course, that is explanatory. Now we have influences on borrowing. The first influences on borrowing says the availability of loan and overdraft. That is, if loan and overdraft is available, more people are likely to borrow. And we have the rate of interest. A rise in the rate of interest will likely lead to reduce in borrowing. And we have also confidence. The more confidence people are about future, the more they will anticipate earning in the future. Now we have moving to the next slide, where we have past question. Banks decrease interest rate. What's likely to be the effect of this on borrowing and saving? Wow. When bank decided to decrease the interest rate, what is likely to be the effect of this on borrowing and saving? Of course, when bank decrease interest rate, of course, the borrowing should rise while the saving will low. Now let us check the option. We have four rises, no, rises four is our correct answer. Moving to the next slide, there is also past question here. What might cause consumers in a high income economy to both save more and spend more? Wow, that's a good question. What might cause consumer in a high income economy to both save more and spend more at the same time? Now let us check the options. An increase in wealth, an increase in the rate of interest, expectation that the prices will fall in the future, inflation rising at a faster rate than wages. Of course, it should be an increase in wealth. If there is an increase in wealth, the consumer can save and spend more at the same time. Moving to the next past question here. What can the central bank increase in order to reduce consumer borrowing? Of course, we have come across this question before, but it's related to borrowing again. What can the central bank increase in order to reduce consumer borrowing? Now let us check in the options. We have consumer bank deposits, is that so? Government spending, the rate of interest, and the exchange rate. What should be our answer? Now, of course, it's the rate of interest. The rate of interest can reduce consumer borrowing. This will be the end of our class. Stay tuned to our website www.edubbey.com. See you in the next class.